We're back with World Cup football again. Canada has knocked out South Africa in the round of 32. We need to do the review of that game with Saeed. Mustafa is here. My name is Afolabi. It's the World Cup again.
Okay, so South Africa. The only question I have is, you have they had 40, they had more than 50% of the ball, of the possession. They had most of the possession. They had 470 passes. They had control, and they only had one shot on goal. That is not acceptable. I don't know what was going on with them. They had good possession. They were passing the ball, but they on the final third of the pitch, they just had no creativity. And even when they did shoot, they were off target. But I think the main thing was that Canada disrupted their midfield. You won't even believe that Mofokeng was playing in that game. He totally disappeared in that game. I'm not blaming him. What I'm saying is that Canada played differently from what we thought they would play. We thought that they would play a high press, that they would try to go to the wings and put pressure and try to strangle South Africa. But once they did that for the first 10 minutes of the game, but once they saw that South Africa was controlling the ball, they sat into a mid block, and whenever they got the ball through midfield, they would bully South Africa in the midfield, get the ball to the second or to the third part of the pitch, and they should have scored a lot more goals. They broke down South Africa's defense on many occasions, but Rowan Williams saved them. So their tactics were different, because I thought that they would come out running, play high intensity, like maybe like a team like Egypt, go to their wings, and then be susceptible to the corner, to the counter attack. But they actually sat back and played good defense, had good shape, let South Africa hold the ball, and they relied off of the fact that South Africa doesn't have a number 9 who can shoot, and also they didn't. Mofokeng today, and even when he's at his best, South Africa still has a problem in which they don't have a creative number 10. So all of that possession was absolutely wasted. 50th to the 70th minute, they played very well. You remember that part of the game I followed where they almost scored, and I was like, oh, these guys are in trouble. Canada's almost in trouble. They almost scored them, and even when they didn't make the goal, it looked like Maseko was like, okay, don't worry, I'm coming. They picked up their intensity, but later on in the game, Canada's physicality and endurance played off, and it looked like South Africa was like, no, we don't want to go into extra time. We are tired. Let them score. What are your thoughts, Saeed?
Yeah, I
Saeed?
quite agree with what you said. I was hoping they would bring on the. Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
guys
go
hear me?
ahead. Hmm. I hear you.
Oh, okay, all right. Then. So I was expecting the Sarah to come out as not fully out, but at least, but they should try and go and score. But they only tried that in like 2 or 3 occasions. And afterwards, they are just passing by at the back, holding on, holding on to the ball, trying to soak Canada's pressure, while Canada still continue to press them even in front of their goal, like so that they can get the ball back and try and press them. But I don't know what this their coach Bruce tactics was today, because it doesn't have any bearing at all. Like I said, I knew the African teams have this problem. Each time when we get to second stage of the World Cup tournament, they always chicken out instead of them to go all out. Even when they have that chances to do that, they won't do that. Look at is Canada. Are they supposed to be afraid of Canada in this kind of game? They are supposed to go all out. At
Hold
least
on,
even
Saeed, hold
if
on.
they don't
See,
go all
Saeed,
out
here's
in
the problem. First of all, you don't
first
know what you're
half,
talking.
they played
Saeed,
well.
first of all, you don't know what you're talking about African teams. Morocco made it to the semifinals. Senegal has made it to the quarterfinals twice. Nigeria has made it to the quarterfinals. Second of all, am I wrong,
Oh,
Afalabi?
we are
Canada,
in second.
Afalabi, Afalabi, am I wrong? The only time Canada pressed.
We are just getting
Hold
to
on,
second round now.
Afalabi. Let's watch. Let's talk about that game. Tell me if I'm wrong, Afalabi. For a lot of that game, it was actually Canada that was sitting back. Then when they got the ball, they would start to pin South Africa when they got the ball, but they had very few possessions in which they did that.
Of course,
You
and it
understand what
was
I'm
in
saying?
the second half.
Yeah, it was that game. South Africa was not afraid. What
Canada
happened was
was
that
very attacking
no,
minded.
no, no. Sorry, I
Even
have to
from the first
disagree with
half,
you
you
on
can
this.
see how they are
Sorry, I
pressing
have to
them.
disagree. You didn't watch that match. Afolabi, tell me if it's not true. The Canadian players were physical. They were bigger and stronger. What happened? Afolabi, what happened to Mofokeng in the game?
It wasn't even in that game.
No, but they disrupted him. Canada disrupted their midfield. It's because they're
Okay,
more physical.
I
It's
want
not because South
to
Africa
tell
was afraid.
Mofokeng like 2 or 3 occasions.
It's not because South
No, but
Africa
South
was
Africa
afraid.
came out. So they really came out in this game.
They
That's
weren't
why.
afraid.
That's why Canada had a lot of counter-attacking
There are like
opportunities.
two or three
It was their
occasions, two or
goalkeeper
three
that saved them.
occasions, two or
Afolabi,
three
during that game,
occasions.
it was the other way around. South Africa is usually the team that sits back and counter. But in this game, what Canada did was they allowed South Africa to just pass the ball amongst themselves, and then
Yes,
when they're
now.
ready,
Yes, now
and when
that's
they're
why
ready,
Canada had a lot of counter-attacking opportunities.
yeah, because there was nobody in the midfield to stop them. Because
Exactly.
South Africa, and once they get the ball, then when they get the ball, they switch and they move a lot of players up forward and they press. But when they were in defense, they weren't playing high press on defense. Am I wrong, Afolabi?
No,
Please
no,
tell
no.
me.
No, not at all.
Canada has
Afolabi is
Canada
your turn.
has
You said,
Canada has total shot of 12 total shots, and they have big chances of 4. South
yeah,
Africa
South
has
Africa had
none
9
and
shots.
have total shot
South
of
Africa
6.
had
That's
9 shots.
how attacking
South
minded
Africa had
Canada
9
was.
shots. So Afolabi, I mean, side since
No,
you know.
they have 6 shots. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, but
They
here's the
have
thing.
6 shots.
They had
I'm
6
looking at
shots.
it
Okay,
right now.
they had 6 shots, and they only had 1 shot on goal.
Yeah.
That was the problem with South Africa. They had a lot of possession. They had the ball in the dangerous areas more, but they weren't able to shoot because they weren't creating shots. You can't just come out here and say, "Oh, that Africans are afraid." That's rubbish. You don't have any analysis to prove that. I finally tell the truth. Did South Africa look scared in that game?
No, 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 no. They came out brave. They were very brave.
What's your analysis of the game, Afolabi?
Yeah, so basically what I felt was that South Africa tired out. That was the main thing. I was even surprised that they came out in the first half. But by the time they got to the 69th minute, they were
Mm-hmm.
tired. They couldn't cope with the intensity and the athleticism of the Canadian team. And I think that's why the Canadian team won the game. If you look at the second half, towards the end of the game, the South Africans were tired. They couldn't cope again. And they have their goalkeeper to thank because they played more bravely. There was nobody in the midfield to stop the Canadians. So Canada had a lot of counter-attacking opportunities. Why not for Williams? They would have scored them much
3-0.
earlier. Yeah.
And here's another thing. Afolabi, am I wrong? From the
Yeah.
50th to the 70th minute, it looked like South Africa was going to score. No,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
maybe around
Sure.
60 to 70 minutes. They were getting combinations.
Yeah.
They even dominated
if you check
the
the statistics,
possession.
if
They
you check
had
the statistics,
58% of the
statistics in the
possession.
second half favor
To
South
me,
Africa.
maybe they should have put Moremi in and maybe bring, because this Apollos guy, he's not direct at all. You get my point? Or maybe keep Apollos in and
The first star, they didn't play first star too. The Makopa, I mentioned that. Sorry to cut you in.
Good.
I mentioned the Makopa guy that I really don't trust that guy. That I was hoping that probably they will fix in that first star guy. That first star guy is more.
And they brought
expensive,
Reiners in,
but I
but they
don't know
brought
why
Reiners in too
they
late.
benched him though.
They brought Reiners in too late. So
Yeah,
to me, the main thing about that game is that
Yeah.
I think whether we agree about high press or no high press, I think we can all agree Canada dominated the midfield. They dominated the midfield. What do you think, Saeed? What do you think of Afolabi?
That's what I'm trying to say now. They dominated them. That's why they created more attacking chances.
Yeah.
I think they came close to like 3 or 4 occasions that if not for Williams, they will have taken 2 or 3 goals ahead. Say
Yeah, Williams, and also
like I was yeah. Go ahead.
and also they blocked a lot of shots. Canada blocked a lot of shots. I mean, South Africa blocked a lot of shots. The defenders blocked shots too. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think what South Africa would have done in that game was probably when they see that they couldn't penetrate the Canada's defense the way they wanted, just have start shooting from the outside box. They didn't shoot from the outside box.
You know what the problem is?
So
They're not accurate. They'll shoot the ball over the bar. They'll shoot the ball to the
passing
moon.
around, passing
They'll
the
shoot
ball
the. Afolabi, didn't you see how many times South Africa shot the ball to the moon?
Yeah.
They're not accurate. They can't shoot.
Do you know that the goal that Canada scored, if that chance had fell to South Africa, they would have played it over the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And also, let's talk about Canada too.
I wasn't expecting them to score that, but I was thinking the game will go to extra time though. I was surprised that they could even pull that off.
Let's talk about Canada too. Afolabi. Canada was doing so well on the wings also, but they couldn't. They don't have any teeth either. They should have scored. A lot of it was that they don't have a number 9 either. They messed a lot of chances up. Canada should have scored a lot of goals. It wasn't just Rowan Williams. Canada doesn't have a striker. They're not going to go past the next round. Against who are they going to play next game? Argentina or someone?
Of course, the only place that I think they're a little bit dangerous is on the flanks. They have very good direct wingers on the
But in the
flanks,
middle,
but
they're not good.
they don't have a top man, a top nine in the middle that can finish the ball for them. But I'm not surprised with South Africa anyway, because if you look at their tournament, I mean, from 4 games, they scored 2 goals. One of those goals was a penalty kick. And this
Mm-hmm.
problem had been going on with them since Nations Cup. When we watched the Nations Cup, we knew they had a problem with scoring. We knew they needed creative players. Between the Nations Cup and now, they didn't quite solve that problem. And they stuck to a very
No,
passive way of attacking, although they were brave in this particular game, but we saw it all happening. If it was not for Williams, South Africa may have conceded early in the game.
yeah.
Williams really saved them.
And
And
there's two things you
and
mentioned.
when your goalkeeper is your best player, then you have problems, really.
No, and not only that, your goalkeeper is the best player you have for breaking the press. That's scary.
Yes. No, that's
Now, there's
scary.
two things I'm going to say about South Africa. Two things that they need to address. They need to get a creative number 10, because even Mofokeng, he's not a passer. He can slash and cut, but naturally Mofokeng is more of a winger. They need a number 10 who can pass, who can distribute the ball, and secondly, they need a pure number 9. Third, like we've said this all the time, their wingers are good at moving, but when their wingers get to the last part of the game, they don't want to create space so that what's his name, Mokwena, can put the ball ahead of them. They want to catch the ball at their foot and do dance and do shibobo dance. No, you need to have more direct. You need to have forwards. I mean, not forwards. Look at how Elise plays. You need to have wingers who can drift, who can go in between spaces and do more things. Their wingers is the same trick. They go very wide, and then when they get the ball wide, they don't know what to do. What do you think of Falabi?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They need to do that. And one other thing I think they should do is South Africa, in my own opinion, they need to get rid of Hugo Bruce.
Oh yeah, Bruce is going. He's old. He's going to retire soon. Yeah.
Hugo Bruce is somewhat biased. They need to bring in a coach that can
Yeah,
identify talent,
yeah.
attacking talent. They have a very good league. They have number 10s in that league. They have players
Yep.
that are creative and imaginative. But it's not the likes of Bruce that will bring out those players. They need a non-partisan coach that will go to their league and bring out the number 10s, the creative players of tomorrow. Hugo Bruce's team was very, very dull, boring, and passive, really.
And he waited too late. He waited too
Yes.
late since African Nations Cup. He hasn't been playing Mofokeng. Finally, the
Yes.
last two games, he found the right setup with Maseko and Marami and all. But it was too late. You
It
should
was
have been
too
playing
little,
these
too
guys.
late, yes.
Yeah. All right. So last thoughts, Saeed, before we leave. And also, South Africa, we're going to start focusing on your preparation for AFCON. AFCON is coming in. AFCON qualifiers start in September. AFCON, you join Nigeria for AFCON. South Africa, go home to Nigerians now, and you guys can watch the World Cup together. What are your thoughts, Segodi? I mean, I said Segodi, Saeed.
Yeah. Uh, so sorry, South Africans. We didn't wish you guys well, but you guys need to up your game. Like how my brother said, Mr. Falab, the South Africa is not clinical enough. I think Canada is very much clinical in that game. That is why you can see that they happen to be the one to win the game at the end of the day. So South Africa, I think they should sack their coach and try. I don't know, like they should start shopping for new set of creative midfielder and striker. As in, that is what they lack most. Defensive wise, they are not doing bad, but they don't have that creative midfielder and they don't have that clinical striker. Yeah, I think that is what they are lacking. They should just work on that.
I hope that the South African players don't go and do the march on June 30th. All right, Afolabi, take us out. That was a bad one. Don't go and join the march on June 30th. You guys should protect Ocon because Ocon is half Nigerian. Don't tell Ocon to leave South Africa or he's half Nigerian. All right, Afolabi, take us out.
Yeah, it's been another brilliant show. We've been discussing Bafana's exit from the World Cup from Saeed Mustafa and myself. We'll be back again with another World Cup story. Bye for now.
Afolabi, remember Brexit.
Yeah,
Brexit. Yeah, this is the Brexit. All right, guys, nice one.
Exit, South Africa exit.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Nice one, guys. Okay.
Sure.